Hello friends and welcome back to TechOps tutorial. In this video, we are talking about something every Linux user has asked at some point. Which Linux distribution is right for me? You have heard names like Ubuntu, Fedora, CentOS, but what do they mean and how do you decide which one to use? Stay tuned because by the end of this video, you will have a clear picture of which distro fits your needs, whether you are a system administrator or a developer or just a curious about the Linux. Here is what we will cover in this video. What are Linux distribution? Why there are so many of them? Which ones are most popular including Ubuntu, Fedora, CentOS? How to choose your first distro? We will explain some Linux myth and a bonus tip, how to try Linux without even installing. Let's start with the basic. So what exactly is a Linux distribution? Think of Linux like an engine. The kernel is the core part that controls your hardware, but an engine by itself cannot drive. You need a full car around it. That's what a developer do. They build a distribution by combining the kernel with a desktop environment, system tools, software managers and settings, all tailored for a specific type of user. For example, Ubuntu is built to be beginner friendly. Fedora targets developers. CentOS was used widely for the servers. Each distro has its own personality. Different distros use different package managers like apt in Ubuntu, DNF in Fedora, or Pacman in Arch Linux, which can affect how you install and manage software. Let's talk about the big name you often hear, Ubuntu, Fedora, CentOS. Each of these has its own strength and we will explore them in detail. Ubuntu is great for everyday users and beginners. Fedora is ideal for developers and early tech adopters. CentOS used to be a go-to for servers, but now it's evolved. Let's take a deeper look at each one. Ubuntu is by far the most popular Linux distro and a great entry point for a new user. It's simple to install, comes with clean user-friendly interface that is GNOME, offers strong community support and extensive documentation, includes the Ubuntu Software Centers where installing app is just a few clicks. If you are a developer, it's also great because it supports Docker, Python, VS Code and almost anything you need out of the box. For sysadmins, Ubuntu LTS long-term support version offer excellent stability for server deployments. Fedora is made for those who want the latest tech fast. It's a favorite among developers and tech enthusiasts. It gets the latest Linux kernel and package faster than most. It's a great environment for development, experimentation and modern tools. It's more advanced than Ubuntu with a steeper learning curve but more flexibility. It's backed by Red Hat, so it's benefit from enterprise level quality and stability. If you want to work with Kubernetes, Podman or bleeding edge dev tool, Fedora is where the innovations start. CentOS used to be a go-to Linux distro for production server. It was free, binary compatible clone of Red Hat, RHEL, which is Red Hat Enterprise Linux, known for stability and long-term support, but in December 2020, CentOS Linux was officially discontinued. It was replaced by CentOS Stream, which we will talk next. CentOS Stream shifted focus and that impacted sysadmin everywhere. Timeline recap. In 2004, CentOS project was started. In 2014, sponsored by Red Hat. In 2020, traditional CentOS discontinued. And in 2021, CentOS Stream became the primary offering. CentOS Stream sits between Fedora and RHEL. It's where the features are tested before they go into RHEL. Let's clarify what CentOS Stream is. It's a rolling release distro, meaning it gets updated continuously, but it sits upstream of RHEL, which means it receives changes before RHEL does. Stability wise, old CentOS was very stable, ideal for production. CentOS Stream less stable, more for testing. RHEL is an enterprise grade stability. If you need a CentOS style experience, use Rocky Linux, created by the original CentOS founder. Alma Linux, community driven, backed by Cloud Linux. Both are 1:1 RHEL compatibility and production ready. Why are these so many distro? This is a great question. Why do we have hundreds of Linux distribution? Because everyone has the different needs. Server need rock solid stability. Lightweight systems are needed for older hardware. Developer want cutting edge tool and features. Advanced user want full customization. Imagine Linux has an ice cream. The kernel is the base and each distro is a different flavor. Same color but different experience. Choosing a first distro can be overwhelming. So here is a simple breakdown based on what makes a good distro for you. It should match your skill level, beginners versus advanced. Your daily tasks like dev work, sysadmin work or general use. Your need for stability versus bleeding edge update. The available community support. Now let's break it down. Beginners, use Ubuntu or Linux Mint. Simple interface, huge community, easy to troubleshoot. For developers or explorers, use Fedora or Pop OS. Latest package, great dev environments, support tool like Docker, VS Code. For server admins, use Rocky Linux or Alma Linux. Stable, secure, long-term support, ideal for production system. And for advanced user, try Arch Linux. Full control, rolling updates, but steep learning curve. Zorin OS or Elementary OS also focus on easy of use with polished UI, especially for Windows or Mac switchers. Don't just follow the hype, choose a distro that fits your workflow and comfort level. Here are few other noteworthy distro you might consider. Linux Mint, based on Ubuntu but even simpler. Pop OS, created by System76, optimized by developer. Arch Linux, popular but not beginner friendly. Each of these distros serves a niche. Explore what works best for your use case. Try Linux without installing. Not ready to commit? You can just try most Linux distro using live USB without installing anything. How it works? Download an ISO file, write it to the USB stick, boot from the USB, explore the Linux, no impact on your current operating system. Perfect for testing, completely safe for your system. Let's discuss some common myths about Linux. Linux is only for coders. Reality, modern distro have a graphical interface. You don't need to touch the terminal. And the next myth is Linux lacks software. In reality, thousands of apps available, LibreOffice, Firefox, GMP, Steam and more. And the third myth is Linux is too hard to use. In reality, Ubuntu and Mint are just as easy as Windows for most tasks. Understanding distro family helps you switch between them more easily. Debian family includes Ubuntu, Mint, Pop OS, known for stability and easy of use. Red Hat family includes Fedora, CentOS, Rocky Linux, Alma Linux, preferred in enterprise environment. Arch family includes Arch Linux, Manjaro and Endeavour's OS. Rolling release, advanced user only. Why it matters? Staying within one family means similar tool, commands and easier transition between the distro. Let's recap what we have covered. Linux distribution is equals to different version built on the same kernel. Ubuntu, Fedora, CentOS serves a different audience. Choose your distro based on your role, comfort level, you can try Linux safely using a live USB, and don't believe the myth Linux is for everyone. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and if you are new here, consider subscribing. We post clear, practical Linux content every week. Drop your questions in the comment. I will like to help you out. Until next time, take care and happy learning.